Now, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the participants who have participated in the Canadian SDG Accelerator Awards program. This year, we have received a total of 26 applications who felt confident to put forward their SDGs initiative to inspire others and also to showcase their commitment to SDGs, which is the primary objective of this program. I would also like to thank our fantastic external jury members listed here who have helped us to recognize the winners. Based on the evaluation criteria and weighting system provided by us, the external judges then provided their assessment and helped us identify the final winners. This year, we also introduced a new category, which is called Winners by Public Choice. The Winners by Public Choice was determined through the public voting process, and we have received a total of 2,577 votes on the applications that we have received. On behalf of GCNC, I would like to congratulate all the winners and applicants for your dedicated commitment to SDGs. With that, I'll pass it to Daria again to introduce the two amazing keynote speakers we have with us today, and after that, to announce the winners. Over to you, Daria.
Thank you, Amin, for sharing the selection process with us and for highlighting some of the exciting new program developments at our network. To help kick off the awards, I'd like to introduce our first keynote speaker of the day, Mark Agnew. Mark is the Vice President of Policy and International at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce. He is responsible for managing the Chamber's international work, including trade policy, the B7 and B20, and the business at OECD. Prior to starting at the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, he worked at the UK government on trade and economic policy issues at the British High Commission in Ottawa for 7 years. He has also worked for the Canadian government in the Department of Foreign Affairs, International Trade, and Parliament. Please help me in welcoming Mark Agnew.
Hi, Daria. Thanks for those kind words and for the Global Compact Network Canada for the invitation to help open up the SDG Accelerator Awards. It's a pleasure to be back with the network and participate in its activities. The last time I had a chance to engage the group was, of course, back when we were all able to meet in person. So as Daria said in the introduction, for those of you that I haven't had a chance to meet, my name is Mark Agnew and I'm the Vice President Policy and International at the Canadian Chamber. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Chamber, we're Canada's largest business association with our membership composing companies of all sizes in all sectors and regions of the country. It's fantastic to see a number of the Chamber's members being nominated for awards with such high caliber bids. And of course, the Chamber remains scrupulously neutral in this process. And thankfully, I wasn't part of the nomination panel, so I didn't have to opine on which member. But just to say, what I hope to kind of talk about over the next few minutes is a little bit about our perspectives on the SDGs and sort of ESG type issues to help kind of set the context, and then gladly will hand it back over to Daria and Eamon to run the rest of the event. So certainly, everyone here is understanding of what sort of difficulties it is right now in the business environment for Canadian companies. But what I will say, and this is something that I think has been quite interesting to see, is that notwithstanding what's been going on, what I hear time and time again from members is that the difficulties have not abated the move to continue to move the dial forward on ESG issues in the broadest sense of the word. And I would say certainly, we've seen this also in the public policy realm from a number of the international forums that we're engaged at, whether that's the OECD or the G7 or the G20. And, we see this, for example, in issues around supply chain transparency or discussions at the OECD around the multinational guidelines or what's happening at the UN to promote the SDGs and sustainable developments and sustainable agriculture, just to name a few. So the SDGs and today's event, I think, are another manifestation of the commitment that Canadian businesses have made to ESG work in a very public, vocal, and positive manner, if I may say. Is there work to do by Canadian businesses on these type of SDG issues and to make progress? Yes, absolutely. And I think the dialogue that we're having today is going to be able to help move that forward just a little bit more. I think we would be doing a disservice, though, if we didn't have a forthright acknowledgement that industry doesn't always see eye to eye necessarily with the other side of the table on these issues. It may be sort of radical and perhaps even a little bit impolite to say that, but I think it's actually important. Disagreement doesn't mean that we can't have a dialogue, and incorporating a broad set of perspectives into public policy making, in my view, is actually what makes good public policy at the end of the day. To give one example, I mean, we hear regularly from our members around the multiplicity of reporting requirements and making sure that companies aren't being asked to do reporting for reporting's sake, but instead being able to do it with clarity and purpose in the communication. And certainly doing it well is not easy, given the number of stakeholders that have views on the issue. Where all of this links into the SDG Awards is that the companies putting themselves forward for these awards have taken the steps to actually rise to the occasion. And although there are a finite number of awards that will be distributed today, all of the organizations that have put themselves forward, I think, deserve to be commended for their efforts to achieve positive change both here in Canada and abroad. And I hope that today's event can not just serve to raise awareness about the SDGs, but also to inspire and act as a signpost to guide others to help them make the plunge also to take steps to be able to attain sustainable development goals. For the Canadian Chamber, SDGs feature prominently in the various global groups where we represent Canada. And as I said a moment ago, that includes the B7 and the B20, which are the business advisory groups to the G7 and G20 respectively. International Chamber of Commerce, which has a permanent observer office at the United Nations in New York and in Geneva, or at the OECD and the business advisory group that we participate in there. And certainly, I would say that from all of the travels that we used to do and from the discussions that we have with our members, the SDGs are absolutely front and center in terms of what the business community wants to work towards. And I think there's a lot of buy-in to do that. I'm thinking even just, for example, of some of the early discussions that we're having around the G7 table this year, and how a lot of it is thinking about what can be done in the run-up to the COP meeting in Scotland that'll take place to make sure that businesses are doing their part on the climate change issue. And of course, working towards the SDGs isn't just an international issue for the Chamber. It's something that features in our domestic work. We have a number of groups. We have a circular economy working group, an inclusive growth campaign, and a council on women's advocacy, all of which contribute to the efforts around attaining the SDGs. And certainly what we hear time and time again globally also is the need to respond to the demands of investors and consumers, and I'm sure we'll hear about this a bit more today, and the need for businesses to be able to act in a sustainable manner. However, in addition to doing the right thing, I mean, dare I say that there's also an honest element of self-interest for businesses in the industrialized world around SDGs. Working towards the SDGs is not just about sort of some kind of mechanism for branding, but it's also just about enhancing the global economic growth prospects and the sort of structural challenges that are currently facing the developing world. And I think that'll help to rise the tide of economic tides of all of our boats. Another very real manifestation that we see right now is the distribution of vaccines around the world. If we're going to be able to get out of this pandemic, it's going to require global solutions, and making sure that we're having an SDG lens to vaccine distribution globally, I think, is another important thing that's quite salient in the current context. So I think I'll just end by saying that, getting to the SDGs is going to require ingenuity and creativity and, a collective effort. And I once again want to commend all of the nominees for their substantial efforts and the work that they've done to put forward their bids, and wish them all good luck in the remainder of the award process that we'll have today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark, for sharing your wonderful message with us. I'd like to introduce our second keynote speaker this afternoon, Olivier Bouillon, Director of Employment and Social Development at Canada at Sustainable Development Goals Unit. Olivier has spent the better part of his career working in the diplomatic services at Global Affairs Canada, and has held various assignments in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, and as well as North America. Olivier is a policy expert and economist by trade, and we're happy to have him with us this afternoon. Please welcome Olivier Bouillon.
Many thanks, Daria. Many thanks, Eamon. Can you guys hear me well? I know I had some
yes, we can.
Issue. Perfect. Thank you, Eamon. So good afternoon, everyone. It's a true pleasure to be here with you today for the 4th annual Canadian SDG Accelerator Awards. I'd like to thank, of course, the Global Compact Canada and this year's participants for the leadership that you are demonstrating on the Sustainable Development Goals. I'm going to start by sharing some thought about this past year. And it has been a very challenging year for all of us. It's been a very challenging year for many businesses of all sizes. It's fair to say that the pandemic has changed and is changing and will have changed our life moving forward. And many organizations had to pivot operation very swiftly in that environment in order to survive. And we've seen through those difficult times that many were able to innovate. in record times. And I think today we're celebrating that innovation, that ability to adapt, especially in a very difficult context. And over this past year, all of us had to reflect on the future of work. This crisis has been testing our resilience, the resilience of our models, the resilience of our societies. It's testing our capacity to withstand shocks. But however, it's also testing our capacity to protect and sustain progress achieved on many fronts. And the crisis has been testing those advancements that we've achieved over the past number of years. And too often, unfortunately, during those very difficult time of crisis, short-term priorities start trumping long-term objectives. And too often, again, marginalized and vulnerable groups face a disproportionate consequence of the impact of those shocks. So it's fair to say that today we're at a crossroad. The pandemic is forcing us to rethink our models, and it's offering us an opportunity in those dark times to build back better, with the focus of supporting the most vulnerable, with the focus of reducing inequalities, of creating a healthy environment that we can all enjoy. As we move forward, the SDGs present Canada and the world with a common roadmap to help shape how our societies of tomorrow can grow and can develop sustainably, inclusively for the shared benefits of all. So when it comes to the government action and SDGs, so as Daria mentioned, I'm the director of the SDG unit here hosted at ESDC, representing the action we've been taking over the last few years. It's fair to say that the government of Canada is committing to advancing progress on the SDGs. Many of our domestic and international priorities, policies, and programming support progress on the SDGs, of course, to include a few: reducing poverty, building sustainable economic growth, reconciliation with Indigenous people, advancing gender equality, the empowerment of all women and girls, taking action for climate change, clean energy, and of course, protecting ocean ecosystems. So all of those are, for example, key priorities of the government in supporting the SDGs. We have in parallel launched a successful Sustainable Development Goals grant and contribution funding program that is supporting organizations across the country to take action on the SDGs. We have to date up to 70 grant recipients. So we have been developing initiatives in support of many SDGs across the country, and we will continue to finance organizations. We have released in 2019 the Towards Canada 2030 Agenda national strategy, which was a result of nationwide in-person and online consultations that outlines the structures, processes, and activities needed to move the 2030 agenda forward. Most recently, I'm very happy to share that we've been working very hard to finalize Canada's 2030 Agenda national strategy, and we're expecting to launch it in the very near future. The 2030 Agenda is a shared responsibility that requires a whole of government and a whole of society efforts. Meaningful stakeholder partnership are fundamental to achieving goals, and Mark was emphasizing we're all sometimes coming at this from a different angle. But what we know is that it's the combination of all of these efforts that will only be able to bring change, and that we are all coming from a different place and can contribute fully to the achievement of progress on the 2030 Agenda. And the 2030 Agenda national strategy that will be releasing soon exactly aim at that, at balance. It's time to create a balancing, to balance creating opportunities for the whole of society contribution on one end, and providing leadership, federal leadership on a range of issues, including equality, poverty reduction, affordable housing, and the transition to a zero carbon economy, for example. So moving forward, that we will be looking to continuing collaborating with you, with Canada's private sector on the 2030 Agenda, and working together to build a more prosperous future for all Canadians. So I'll stop there. Thank you so much, and looking forward to our discussion after.
Thank you, Olivier, for your wonderful remarks. Our first award category of the evening recognizes large enterprises in their ambitious determination and strategic execution of their sustainability priorities. The top 3 winners this year are BASF Canada, Nutrien, and Teranga Gold. I'd like to first welcome Marcelo Liu, President of BASF Canada, to accept the award.
Yeah, thank you very much. What a great honor. Yeah, I've been 5 years now in BASF Canada, and of all the recognitions I can really think of, this is really a special one that talks really about everything we do. And why do I say this? We always have a challenge when we talk about sustainability, that we have a common language, and the SDGs really does that and really provides the framework where we can really speak on a level playing field with everybody. And especially SDG 17 it comes out in every application that we do as the most important, because we are very conscious we cannot do this alone. From the projects that we've done last year on the plastic file, chain, which is a traceability of plastic and really proving out circularity, to developing a value balancing alliance chapter in Canada, where we try to really do better reporting and accounting of ESG metrics, and even being able to, pivot one of our startups that we've funded to not only do what they used to do, but to really provide a rapid response platform for PPE during this COVID period. The post-pandemic is really going to be important that we focus on recovery, and it needs to be built back better. And we always talk about this, but what does this mean in the gender equality agenda, in proving really circularity, in a low carbon economy, even companies like BASF that does have a very large, heavy capital base in the industry. And that is with the partnerships, but also focusing on innovation that triggers and amplifies and multiplies in an exponential way sustainability, be it in the mobility, in electric mobility, be it in how we are building homes more comfortably, but also more energy efficient, and really taking care of how we use resources, not only in the immediate use, but how we keep and how we are enabling the reuse of resources over and over again. So for that, I want to thank all the BASF colleagues, the sustainability champions that have worked with me and the team around this. I want to thank all of our partners, and the innovation colleagues that really we are able to interact. But most importantly, I want to give a special thank you for Global Compact for really being that amazing platform that is able to bring us together and remind us what is really important around the SDGs. The last thing that I will mention, and I would like to make an introduction, it's a bit of a surprise for those of you who follow BASF Canada. You see that we have big news today. We announced a transition of my position to somebody else, and maybe a 30-second on this. Of course, having built what I believe has been a great 5 years in BASF, anybody would be worried what kind of legacy you're able to leave and how can this be continued. And I am just so very pleased to announce that Paula Mukherjee is going to be taking over BASF Canada and really leading us to the next level of sustainability. She and I, we know each other for many years, and she was doing all of our sustainability projects regionally, and now she comes in to take care of BASF Canada. I will sleep very well knowing that she's here, and she will definitely bring us to the next level. But maybe just want to introduce Paula. Paula, maybe 1 minute or two where you are able to tell us what an incredible, strong woman you are and how you're going to lead us to the next level of BASF Canada.
Thanks, Marcelo. Good afternoon, everyone. Really humbled to be here and sharing the stage alongside Marcelo. He has a long legacy in Canada. We are indeed very grateful to Global Compact Network of Canada for this recognition. This is this really highlights our multi-stakeholder partnership that Marcelo mentioned, which supports all the SDG into what we do. And I want to recognize our colleagues, especially two of them who are here, Amy Sandhu and Ravi Chauhan, who have played instrumental role in ensuring all our activities continue to support SDGs. What I intend to do is build on that great leadership position BSF has gained in the Canadian market, and will continue to intensify our focus and bring innovative and sustainable solutions to our customers. We cannot do it alone, so we intend to continue to partner with innovative companies, organizations, governments, academic institutions, whoever else under the sun, to make sure that we integrate these very different competencies that BSF has to offer to develop the best practices and put to work the sustainable products and solutions in order to address the growing needs of sustainable challenges here in Canada, and then exporting it to the rest of the world. So thank you all, and looking forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Marcelo and Apala, and congratulations on your award. Marcelo, we will miss your engagement with us here at GCNC, and Apala, we look forward to working with you in the future. So thank you both. I'd like to invite Lindsay Vergehi, Sustainability Initiatives and Reporting Manager at Nutrien, to accept their award.
Good afternoon, everyone. That's such great news from BSF. I can't wait to work with you further, Apala. And also, I just am so excited to be here and be recognized by Global Compact Canada. You know, our efforts in advancing the SDGs among all the other winners are really special to us. We take it to heart when we win an award like this. So for those of you who don't know who Nutrien is, I thought I'd give a high-level overview. We are the world's largest plant nutrient company and also an egg retailer, working with about 500,000 growers directly. We're headquartered in Saskatoon, Canada, and we have I'm going to say 23,000 employees. Our purpose is to sustainably feed the world, and we really focus on SDG 2 and hunger through sustainable and productive agriculture. Our company is quite unique, though. So for those of you who know us, you know we went through a merger in 2018. It was a merger of equals between Agrium and Potash Corp. And when a merger of that size occurs, everything is evaluated. So you basically get a chance to pick the best practices, best policies. We also did extensive benchmarking against our peers, and we rallied internally to ensure that we had proper baseline data to set the targets against. This isn't an easy undertaking, but fast forward to today, and because of that extensive work that we were able to do, we've built the foundation of what Nutrien stands for, and we secured the commitments from our executives and our CEO. So that means we're now in a position to truly and sincerely transform agriculture. In April, we'll be announcing our 2030 commitments, and we've directly tied those commitments to SDG indicators. Right now, I'm actually working on an internal SDG steering committee, and we're building an employee engagement and awareness campaign. One of our biggest tasks is to look at an SDG impact assessment. So the intent of that is to dive deep into the positive and negative impacts along our value chain. Our first report for that is coming out in April as well, where we plan on laying out our plan. But it's an incredible journey. That this can't happen overnight. It takes a lot to understand your entire value chain, and it takes a lot to understand the necessary changes that you need to make to implement your sustainability focus areas. So we're really looking forward to that evaluation and assessment. And an example that came out in November for us on how we're integrating the SDGs is in our carbon program. So we're building the most comprehensive end-to-end journey. Sorry, I had a pop-up in the chat and I thought maybe somebody had a question for me. So we are developing the most comprehensive end-to-end carbon sequestration program that's going to also generate carbon credits for our growers. So it's a collaboration. You heard BASF talk a lot about collaboration, and that's truly what this carbon program is about. It's being piloted right now in North America, and we're using sustainable products, practices, our digital technology to really track and measure the impact of growing healthy crops and providing those nature positive solutions that we need. And when you look at the SDGs, it really allows us to look at SDG 2 in complete collaboration with SDG 13. So we can't look at an SDG in silos. We have to look to at them as the whole picture. It's the path forward that we're really excited to be on, and we welcome others to collaborate with us. So you're welcome to contact me at any time, even if it's just to brainstorm and share ideas on how you're integrating the SDGs into your company or how you're engaging employees. And again, thank you so much for this award. I really look forward to hearing what others are up to in this space as well.
Thank you, Lindsay, and congratulations to Nutrien. I'd now like to invite Gwenaëlle Gillian, Vice President of Sustainability at Teranga Gold, to accept the award.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon for you. Teranga Gold is very pleased to accept the 2020 UNGC SDG Accelerators Award in the large company category. Since the creation of the company, Teranga Gold has been a leader in sustainability and responsible mining. It is something that was taken seriously and actively supported throughout the organization, from the board and the management team to the GMs and site people. Teranga's sustainability strategy supports the SDGs and is based on 4 pillars, including good governance, people and culture, mitigating our impacts, and sharing the benefit of responsible mining. At both of the Teranga's operating mine in West Africa, there are ongoing large-scale economic and physical resettlements. Our goal is to leave people better off following displacement, but these are not easy projects to complete successfully. If community members lose access to their field, but are not provided with replacement land and support to regenerate their agricultural production, there can be significant negative impacts to their ability to grow enough food and generate enough income to feed their families. The standout initiative Teranga is currently undertaking that addresses the targets of the Zero Hunger SDG is a livelihood restoration plan at our Wagnon mine in Burkina Faso. An ongoing large-scale resettlement of 685 households includes the purchase of 2,000 hectares of agricultural land for mine operation. During initial consultations to address mine-related displacement, food security and sustainable agricultural-based livelihoods were identified as 2 critical issues. The Livelihood Restoration Plan runs from 2018 to 2023 and is governed by a multi-stakeholders committee that includes government, community representatives, youth, and women. It includes 9 programs that build on 2 of the most prevalent economic activities in the area, agricultural production and livestock, and consider specific social groups such as vulnerable households and women. Education, training, and support are integral to each program in order to build capacity towards sustainable, higher production agricultural practice. In addition, financial literacy training is provided to support households in managing compensation and investments. The 6 years, $18 million program is being implemented by a team of 17 people who are working closely with local stakeholders. It is a great initiative with positive benefit for our surrounding communities, and after 2 years of operation, the program has seen very promising results. For example, several solar-powered irrigated zones have been constructed with individual plots distributed to families to give intensive agriculture. At one zone with 31 plots, around 40 tons of produce are harvested each year and sold to the local markets, to the mine, and consumed by the families. Cassava, a high-value crop, was introduced to the area and has seen excellent uptake among eligible families. Intensive rice farming techniques resulted in average productivity nearly doubling. And finally, support for women's group, including training to the 18 functional women's groups on topics such as organizational governance and basic accounting. The team at the mine and the community are very proud of the results of the program, and we are looking forward to supporting the continued evolution of the program and reporting on the results. This project would not have been possible without the incredible support within Teranga. A very big thank is due to our board chair, Alan Hill, and our CEO, Richard Young, for their strong vision of responsible mining. There is a huge desire within Teranga to take responsibility for our impacts and do our utmost to ensure that communities are better off for our presence, and that comes from the top. And this will continue under Endeavour Mining leadership in the future. Congratulations to each of the other winners tonight. Have a good evening, and thank you for this great recognition.
Thank you, Gwenaëlle, and congratulations to Teranga Gold. Our second award category recognizes the accomplishments of small and medium enterprises. Our top two winners this year are EM1 and Umalia. I'd like to invite Mir Islam, founder and CEO of EM1, to the stage to accept the award.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. On behalf of M1, I'm humbled to accept the SDG Accelerator Award for the SME category. It's great to be alongside other organizations that champion the SDG through their work. Together, we are accelerating our industry towards a more sustainable future. I founded M1 Energy Solutions 10 years ago after I completed my MBA at Schulich School of Business in Toronto. Since then, Canada had been my home and the place that helped M1 to grow into the company that it is today. A little bit about M1. We are a technology and engineering firm that delivers sustainable energy and smart electricity infrastructure to our clients. Headquartered in Canada, we work globally to transform Africa's energy sector into decentralized, decarbonized, and digitalized system. M1 work in the power and renewable and have designed and deployed over 12 megawatts and 300 systems across Nigeria. Last year was a very challenging year, but we were still able to do quite a lot. This month, we are commissioning a major project with the federal government of Nigeria, the first microgrid solar projects to power a federal project that would showcase for renewable energy across the continent in delivering technically and commercially viable solutions that can power a sizable off-taker. The sustainable development is really the core of what we do. SDG 7 is the most important SDG and the enabler for all other SDGs. So without sustainable energy, we compromise the health of the planet and everything we do. So through our work, we have recognized the great potential for private businesses like M1 to transform Africa's aging power sector into one that is sustainable, scalable, and creates opportunities for younger generations while protecting our environment. Private businesses can play an instrumental role in driving progress of the SDG, particularly within the SDG 7 world. This sustainable energy transition is so exciting, in part because it will require the adoption and deployment of new technologies, systems, and processes. It will leverage digitalization and has the potential of millions of new jobs, professions, and skills. I believe that sustainable energy field has the opportunities for all. When the business world stops viewing sustainability as a cost, endless opportunities open up for private sector players to play a role in the sustainable development transformation. At M1, we use this mindset to address three major energy challenges. A, providing power to unserved or underserved last mile communities. B, powering healthcare and education. And C, reducing the cost of power for our clients by maximizing the use of renewables. From a business perspective, addressing these challenges innovatively for over a decade requires a unique way of thinking with a holistic and dynamic approach to doing business. At M1, we are dedicated to building a mission-driven team that upholds a strong culture focused on listening and learning, supported by programs and policies that ensure our team knows we are serious and accountable for these commitments. We believe that innovation and dynamism come from listening, learning, and including more stakeholders at the table. Diversity sparks innovation, whether that diversity be in gender, ethnicity, thought, or age. To highlight one intersectional challenge within the SDG space, at M1, we understand that the energy transition and associated societal transformation requires the best talent and the most diverse workforce possible to succeed. That's why we champion gender representation and create opportunities that are tailored to include and support female in the SDG space. Over the last 10 years, we have championed and strengthened this culture through dedicated programs for youth and females, capacity building and knowledge sharing through mentorship, encouraging professional development and building strong intergenerational teams. The corona pandemic forced every person, business, and community to rethink how things get done. M1 understands that achievement of SDG 7 is more important than ever to recover better for our company and broader society. M1's focus on SDG 7 has not wavered due to COVID-19, with our short and long-term planning and approach becoming more resilient and targeted at overcoming challenges, exploiting opportunities posed by the pandemic. Again, I'm very humbled to receive this award on behalf of M1, and I look forward to our continued progress towards achieving the SDG and beyond. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mer, and congratulations to M1 Energy Solutions. I'd like to now invite Lucy Bourgeois, President and founder of Umalia, to the stage to accept their award.
Thank you very much. I'm coming to the virtual stage. Good afternoon to all, and thank you to the Global Compact Network Canada. It really is an honor to be here. I think, as many of my colleagues have said, it's the culmination of several years of engagement and hard work to bring together our vision to fruition. 9 years ago, when I founded Umalia, it was with the core belief that societal change was possible. I dreamed then of the kind of partnerships that we shared with you in our application. For those of you who don't know us, Umalia, we're a consulting firm essentially that works on what we call societal engagement. And that includes, CSR, ESG, sustainability. But we also have another part of us, which is we're active initiators of our own projects. All of those projects are led with a multi-sector collaboration lens. We have therefore initiated and implemented multiple multi-sector partnerships with private sector, civil society, local and national governments, academia, in different countries, and most of them targeted issues like climate change, poverty reduction, water, and economic empowerment. And as such, as you can tell with the work that we're doing, we're glad to see increased interest in the recent years and movement towards a more equitable, inclusive, and sustainable world. But there's also, as many of you have mentioned before, still tremendous steps to be taken there. I think the best example of this is around climate change, where UN Special Envoy for Climate Action, Mark Carney, mentioned in a newspaper that I just read recently, that the world is heading for mortality rates equivalent to the COVID crisis every year by mid-century, unless action is taken. So when you hear that, you recognize the importance of what we are all trying to do in this. And in this context, we want to thank the UN and the UNGC for creating, in collaboration with all sectors, this SDG framework, which I think, as some people have mentioned, enables us all to align around the role and the place that each sector and each organization can play in solving some of these most difficult societal challenges that we've ever faced. The framework is also, I think, as somebody mentioned earlier, a key contributor to raising that awareness and enabling us to speak the same language around joint issues and the ability to contribute, no matter what sector we come from, what size of organization we are, or where we live. We are ourselves at Umalia a reflection of that. As a small enterprise, we've often been questioned, and to be honest, we've also questioned ourselves sometimes about our level of engagement, because being committed to societal impact forces you to make different choices. Choices in the kind of projects that we embark on, choices to the kinds of clients that we choose to work with, the suppliers that we work with. It's not always easy, but when we believe in it, we know that the outcomes can be quite amazing. And most importantly, what we believe in is that the key ingredient for this is quite simple. It's collaboration. It's a simple word, but it's not that easy to make happen. I often describe this as a puzzle where each one of us plays a part in unison to accomplish something that is so much greater than the sum of our parts. The challenges we face today are such that no one stakeholder, no one government, no one civil society organization can solve this tremendous challenge we're facing. But together, we might be able to. We certainly have to try. And you probably all know the well-known proverb that states, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Is there a better proverb to represent what SDG 17 is all about? I stand here today because of all the people, all of our clients, all of our partners, all of the great members of our team at Umalia, all of those in Canada and abroad who have joined forces with us to build and manage cross-sector partnerships, because they understood the challenges facing our world today. Because they realized that no matter their contribution, they could participate in something greater than themselves. Because they believed in the power of collaboration. And because they saw that together, we could do so much more than alone. I share this award with them, and I hope that this movement will inspire many other organizations from all sectors to think about how they can positively impact society through collaboration, through their business model, and in alignment with the UN SDGs. So thank you very much. Thank you to the Global Compact Network Canada, and congratulations to all the winners. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy, and congratulations to Amalia.
Thank you.
The next award category of the evening recognizes the dedicated efforts of NGOs, academia, and all non-business associations. The winner of the category for this year is Accelerate 2030. Please welcome Charles Baudry, Chief Mobilizer, to accept the award.
Hello, Daria. Thank you so much. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Great. Hello, everyone. Very happy to be here. And what a great follow-up, I think, to Madame Bourgeois' introduction about collaboration. I'm actually quite pleased to be one of the last winner to speak today, given we've heard a lot about the importance of multi-stakeholder partnerships, about the common framework of the SDGs as a common language for all of our industries, and about shared responsibility. So those three things are actually at the core of what Accélérer 2030 or Accelerate 2030 movement is. It's about creating a common language, a common voice for multi-industries and organizations. I want to extend my thanks to the UN Global Compact. I think you did an amazing job with putting together this ceremony and event, as well as the jury. I think there was a lot of really great applications, and I was required to do a thorough analysis. So cheers to that. And also I want to congratulate all of the applicants, I think, for the award ceremony, because it's been a challenging year, both for large, medium, small businesses, nonprofits, of course, included. And I think we need to acknowledge collectively that sustainability efforts that were ongoing, and the efforts for implementing SDGs. Now, as the lead social entrepreneur, I guess, behind the movement of Accelerate 2030, I'm really pleased and honored to be receiving this award. We started this initiative in 2018 with really individual encounters about what the state of the SDGs were in the context of Quebec, and which soon led to convening stakeholders from different industries, academia, private sector, governments, philanthropy, and to start reflecting on what would it look like if we were to work collaboratively on an initiative to accelerate progress on the Sustainable Development Goals, starting in Quebec, which led to the creation of Accélérer 2030, which is a consortium. You can call it a movement, a consortium, an ecosystem of organizations that share a common objective, whatever their individual actions are, we share the common ambition to achieve the goals by 2030. And so we share a drive for excellence, for common indicators, and for impact measurement. So for that, I'm really happy to be here today, because I think it's the next step of our development phase to be receiving this award, and to continue to create coherence around a general action plan for the SDGs. And so I think we learned a great deal in the past 3 years on the SDGs in Quebec and in Canada. We learned, we listened, and now I think it's the next step is to take action for the next decade of action. And so I'm very excited to where we'll go from here to continue to establish this as a reference for the SDGs across all industries. And so please, very happy, and congratulations again to all of the winners. Cheers.
Thank you, Charles, and congratulations on the award. We have now reached our final category of the evening, the winners of the public choice. We have one winner in each of the 3 categories representing NGOs, SMEs, and large companies. The winner of public choice for the NGO category is WaterAid Canada. I'd like to invite Nicole Hurtubise, CEO at WaterAid Canada, to accept the award.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Global Compact Network Canada, for inviting us today. It's a real pleasure to be here today, and I've really enjoyed the presentation so far. Very inspired. I'm absolutely thrilled to be accepting this award from Global Compact Network Canada for the second year in a row. And I'd like to share a few words about the work that WaterAid Canada does to advance action towards Sustainable Development Goal number 6. And that goal is to ensure availability and sustainability management of water and sanitation for all. WaterAid is an international organization that works in 30 countries. And like others, we work with partners across all sectors, and we can't do our work by ourselves. The SDG 6 is embedded in our mission, and our mission is to transform the lives of the poorest and most marginalized people by improving access to water, sanitation, and hygiene. And this mission is prioritized in all that we do. At the highest level, our commitment to advancing Goal 6 is reflected in our global strategy, but it's also reflected in the work that we do every day and everywhere throughout our teams in the world. So at WaterAid Canada, we recognize that extreme poverty will not end until everyone has clean water, decent toilets, and good hygiene. And despite the progress that we've seen over the past decades, 1 in 10 people still does not have access to clean water close to home in the world. 1 in 4 people, that is 2 billion people, do not have access to a decent toilet of their own. Well, here in Canada, most of us have at least 2 toilets at home. And then 2 out of 5 people in the world, that is 3 billion people, don't have access to basic hand washing facilities at home with water and soap. And this in the midst of a global pandemic where we are asked and told to wash our hands many times a day. The denial of this very basic human right prevents people from having equal opportunity to be healthy, educated, and financially secure. Achieving SDG 6 is absolutely key to changing this. And with specific targets on water, specific targets on sanitation and hygiene, we are realizing that these 3 essentials are absolutely needed to reach everyone in the world with WASH. At WaterAid Canada, we're absolutely determined to achieve Goal 6, and we're determined to reach everyone in the world. So this, of course, is an ambitious goal. And currently, 1 in 4 healthcare facilities globally doesn't have soap and water for hand washing. And I know these are a lot of statistics, but they are so, they're such an illustration of how so many people don't have this very basic human right. Over 1/3 of schools worldwide, 1/3 of schools worldwide don't have a decent toilet. So these figures make it strikingly apparent that we have a long way to go. in achieving universal access to even basic water and sanitation services. But failing on water and sanitation is not an option, because this would mean that we would be failing on all global goals collectively. Water and sanitation are at the very core of sustainable development. They are critical to the survival of people and the planet. Investing in Goal 6 creates the opportunity to advance across multiple sectors, including education, health, nutrition, gender equality, climate, and the list goes on. And without secure access to safely managed water supplies, communities will be held back. So if we don't achieve Goal 6 in the next decade, we also risk exacerbating the effects of climate change and global diseases. The threat of climate change is fundamentally intertwined with the need for adequate access to water around the world. The impacts of climate change may lead to another 700 million people facing water insecurity in the coming years. And COVID-19 has also taught us how absolutely essential WASH is to prevention. So at WaterAid Canada, we recognize that access to WASH is crucial to boost resilience to multiple global threats, including current and future pandemics, and the impacts of climate crisis. And this is especially important for the poorest and most marginalized populations in the world. And as I said a few minutes ago, there are still 3 billion people in the world who lack basic hand washing facilities at home, no water, no soap. So ending the water crisis by 2030, it's not impossible. We've seen great advancements over the past years, and together we have been making progress, but we're not done yet. And with only 9 years remaining until 2030, new approaches, new innovative approaches, strong political will, effective systems, good governance, increased investment, and a new collaborative partnerships are needed absolutely urgently. I'm confident though, and that's why I do this work and that I'm so invested. I'm confident that this crisis can be overcome and that we will do it and that we'll do it within our lifetime. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicole, and congratulations to WaterAid Canada. The winner of the second Public Choice Award in the category of SMEs is Women on the Move, the Artemis Project. I'd like to invite Heather Gamble, founder, to accept the award on behalf of the organization.
Thank you, Daria. We really appreciate the opportunity to join everybody today. And for all of the award winners, we extend huge congratulations to everybody. It's incredible to hear about your deep work in the UN SDGs. And we want you to, each and every single one of you, know how you inspire us and you inspire all of us to take action. Excuse me. Women on the Move is a business accelerator for women entrepreneurs. And approximately 4 years ago, we started a special project in mining called Artemis Project. It's because of Artemis Project that I am here with you today and sharing our celebrations. Thank you to UN Global Compact, Eamon and team in Canada for making it visible and possible to share all of our contributions and our excitement around the UN SDGs. Over the past couple of years, Artemis Project has a collective of women entrepreneurs in mining and metals. And what we have begun in Chile as a pilot project has now been well established in Canada, expanded in Brazil, expanded more in Chile, and moving into other directions. Artemis is a collective of women-owned businesses who are committed to 3 pillars in mining. They're committed to innovation, sustainability, and diversity and inclusivity. From Artemis Project, we have a collective of over 50 women-owned businesses who ascribe to those 3 pillars by providing services and solutions to the mining supply chain in various ways. However, there's one common thread. I started Artemis about 3 years ago, and when we were attracting our female entrepreneurs, we noticed there was a very high degree of alignment of higher levels of SDG, of more ethical ways to do mining, of more higher level of responsibility in mining. And that's what the women entrepreneurs within Artemis are committed to. As though they serve different services, solutions, and products, they all align around the UN SDGs. As we've heard from our previous award winners, the SDGs are that common framework that enable us to speak a common language and well understood, and we believe it is the only sustainability project in the world that's needed for all of us to rally around. On behalf of all the Artemis members, because it is due to their work within the mining sector that they bring you a premium array of services and solutions, all aligned to the UN SDGs. Over the past year, we've taken our membership collective and we've worked with each individual entrepreneur at helping her align her business to the UN SDGs, helping her through coaching and programs understand the UN SDG contributions that her products and services and solutions enable our mining clients to say positive contributions around the UN SDGs. As a result, we started this project, and as a result of the work that we've done, especially over the past year in our mapping individually, collectively, we now are deeply engaged in the UN SDGs, deeply committed. We see that the opportunity is right in front of our eyes for all of us. There is no question. Business as usual is not our going forward platform at all. We all believe in business for good, and we ascribe to those principles. We believe that we are challenged to be a business, all of us across industry, to be more than business for financial gain and profit. And we believe in the power of that UN SDG framework to enable all of us to understand how we can contribute and drive that, strengthen that commitment and achieve what we all want to see, a peaceful, prosperous world for all in 2030. Within Artemis specifically, we focus on UN SDG number 12, UN SDG number 8 and 5 as primary UN SDGs, and even within those we offer and really do deep learnings about how mining can accelerate its contribution. And mining we see as a critical industry, and critical because, well, I'd like to borrow a phrase from a great geologist who has a super TED Talk, and her name is Lucy Crane, and she brings it home by saying, if it's not grown, it's mined. If we cannot figure out how to produce mining, if we cannot do responsible mining, there is very little opportunity that we can take what comes out of the ground and put it into responsible production and consumption of products. So we are here. Artemis is committed to rallying around a global extreme stream of innovation, sustainability, and diversity to help mining become a world-class contributor to the 2030 UN SDG objectives, goals, and a vision for all of us to prosper in a better way. Thank you very much again, and recognize to all of our UN SDG believers, activators, ascribers, and commitments. Eamon made a comment, I think that we had 2,500 votes in Canada for this particular program. Well, I'd say through your work, our work, collectively, multi-stakeholders, let's raise that ambition and help Canadians engage and see the opportunity for the UN SDG framework and supported by Global Compact. Thank you very, very much. It's an absolute honor to be representing all these incredible women entrepreneurs in mining. They are unbelievable in terms of their passion, their commitment, their expertise, their experience, and we thank you so much for making us and giving us an opportunity to be a part of this groundbreaking initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather, and congratulations to the Artemis Project on the award. Our final award of the evening is the Public Choice Award in the category of large companies, and the winner is TELUS. Please welcome Stephanie Hahn, Senior Sustainability Manager at TELUS, in accepting the award.
Thanks, Daria. On behalf of TELUS, thank you so much for this recognition. It's really an honor to be recognized with an SDG Accelerator Award. A big thank you to those that participated in the public voting and to the Global Compact Network Canada for this opportunity to showcase Canadian innovation and inspire further action on the global goals. I think many of the other award recipients summarized it beautifully, everything that they've done and continue to do, and all the passion behind it. Since signing the UN Global Compact in 2010 and joining the Global Compact Network Canada in 2015, TELUS has been on a sustainability journey that really continues to this day. We are committed to applying our world-leading technology to improve the lives of all Canadians. And we are focused on empowering Canadians with connectivity, innovating in healthcare, which really came to light over the course of 2020 and continues into this year as well, caring for the environment and giving back to our communities. In turn, these commitments advance 5 sustainable development goals: good health and well-being, quality education, sustainable cities and communities, climate action, and partnerships for the goals. And I know many of the other award recipients talked about partnership, and I don't think I could summarize it any better. As a visionary supporter of the Global Compact Network Canada, we are excited to celebrate the collective impact of all the organizations here today. It's very clear that we all remain steadfast in our commitment to increasing the impact of the 10 principles and the SDGs, not only here in Canada, but globally. So big congratulations to our fellow winners and really to all the applicants for your leadership in advancing the goals. Together, we can end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure all people enjoy peace and prosperity by 2030. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, and congratulations to TELUS. This brings us to the end of the award ceremony, and I'd like to offer another round of congratulations to all the winners. We will be moving into the breakout room shortly for the networking portion of the event and invite you to join us. You can find the Zoom meeting link posted here in the chat, or can navigate back to your calendar invite and find it there. Thank you to everyone who participated in the awards program, and thank you to everyone who was able to celebrate with us here today. Thank you, and we'll see you in the breakout rooms.